Oh, hello. Hopefully you can hear me. My screen is a little bit fucked up right now, but it was 7 and I figured I can fix the screen with you guys here. So, there we go. Make that somewhat smaller. Make this small. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, sorry it's so like aggressively bright in here. I got new curtains. And they're just like a lot very sheer compared to my old ones. Let's scoot that over and be straight. There we go. And let me scooch. Yes. It's so bright in here. It's very much giving daytime. I like to do this with the cover of night, not with the harsh lighting of the day. And let me fix everything. Actually, that's a lot. Scooch. There we go. Oh, I lied to my boyfriend. I said I had 60 something slides. There's 72. Okay. Oh, and the iPad. Let me move this to the ground. My office is a mess, a hot mess. Express. I'm just gonna like start throwing things on the ground. I'm gonna regret this later because I'm gonna be wondering where these remotes are. So I'm just gonna put them in the middle of the floor. Floor's here. Quarter life crisis. Hello. How are you? Okay, I literally am not looking at anything you guys are saying. Sorry. Missed the last couple weeks. I'm so glad I quit my survival second job. Good for you, man. I love when people quit a job. Also, thank you to everyone who donated last week. Last week was a very intense donation week for us. Love that for us. Stop it. Love that for us. And if you would like to donate, my Venmo is at Redacted Parking Lot. Please just include the word gift in your message. Thank you so much for everyone who has donated. If you don't know, the donations, or the gifts, I should say, the gift is going to buying me a better computer so that I'll be able to do videos more and like have more tabs open and show you guys more cool stuff, because right now all my computer can handle is the streaming and having my one Nearpod tab open. So once I get a bigger, nicer computer, we'll be able to do some cooler stuff. And we are almost halfway there. So I feel like it's going to be an exciting night tonight because I feel like we're going to get halfway there. I'm so excited for this stream because I have some hater feels to get out. So I'm really proud of like the story arc of this stream. Oh, this is a little more low cut than what I realized. Also, hi Barbie. I saw the Barbie movie today. We're not going to talk about it because I was mad that so many people were talking about it and it spoiled some parts for me, which like it's fine. Like I'll get over it, maybe. But I just really don't want to do that for anyone else. And now I'm neutral on going to the movies. I used to hate the movie theater so much. Like you could not pay me to go into a movie theater. I just absolutely hated it. And now I'll go if it's not crowded and they have the big reclining chairs, then I'll go. So I just want to respect some people that maybe can't go to the movies or just don't want to go to the movies. So I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, but it was really fucking good. And for me, it did live up to as much as I'd hyped it up in my head. So that's all I'll say. Let me go live on the Tickety Talk. Cool. Also, am I going the right way? No, so I'll go this way so you can see. Look at my wall. It's coming together so nice. Look how cute and gorgeous and amazing this wall is turning out to be. Incredible. I'm gonna have to get a blackout curtain for this window because I'm really not liking that you can't see the blue light because it's so bright in here. I look really tan though. Love that for me. Yeah, so people that have been with me for a long time, my streams used to have that pink background and it was my closet doors, and now they do again, but it's my office wall. And it's gonna be the whole wall. Also, I don't know, you kind of can't see it. Let me move Ellen so you can see. Oh, you still can't. Like, just out of frame, not the side where the window is, like not this side. Over here, just out of frame is a TV, and I decided I'm actually gonna move that TV and that she's like not gonna stay right there. So we're gonna, you know, kind of do some rearranging. Tonight's drink of the night is a Pacific Cooler Capri Sun. What is everyone else drinking tonight? Back when you had to hide from your demon roommate during class. She was so fucking awful. So I just moved out of that apartment a couple weeks ago, and it was very sad to say goodbye to one of my roommates because me and her have always gotten along great, and we have both lived in that apartment. We're the only people that were there like the whole time. The third one, it was like a rotating door, but me and her were there. That sounds like we drove people out, but that really wasn't the case. It was like one mildly crazy person who subletted to a fully crazy person, which like birds of a feather, you know what I mean? But anywho, it was really sad to say goodbye to her. And one thing we were reminiscing about was like that situation was just so fucking crazy. Literally just so crazy. Diet Coke with lime. Just finished my Dr. Pepper. That's what I drank at the Barbie movie. So I was gonna get the drink. They had like a drink with vodka in it and it sounded good. But then my sister was like, oh my God, I didn't know it had alcohol in it. And I don't want to drink alone at the Barbie movie at noon on a Wednesday. Well, I guess it was 1. That makes it a little better. You should do a stream just about the crazy roommate. Honestly, I should. I was going to, and then I didn't because I was like, I still live in this apartment. Like, people are fucking crazy. You never know what people are going to do. Like, you just never know what people are going to do. But now that I've moved, like, I really feel untouchable. Also, other exciting things. You might notice behind Mike, there's a pink square. Do y'all know the Suburban Farmhouse on TikTok? Y'all know who that is? She's on Instagram as well. She is like an Etsy maker. Like she does woodworking stuff. She is making me something very, very fabulous for there. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a surprise, but it's so fucking cute and it eats so fucking hard and we like worked on it together. So I'm very excited about that. I've been wondering what the square is for on your IG story. Okay, but as you can see, we have 72 slides and a lot of them are videos. So we have a lot to fucking talk about tonight. Tonight we are talking about the Journey of Ellen DeGeneres. If you do not know, Ellen DeGeneres has had a fall, a cancellation, if you will. I hate to use the word canceled because I think people really think it means something it doesn't mean, and it's just a really overused word. But people used to fucking love Ellen, and now people fucking hate Ellen. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And like always, we're going to go like literally from the time of her birth. So for anyone that is living under a rock and does not know who Ellen DeGeneres is, Ellen Lee DeGeneres, born January 26, 1958, is referred to as Ellen. She is an American comedian, television host, actress, writer, and producer. She starred in the sitcom Ellen from 1994 to 1998, which earned her a Primetime Emmy Award, which we'll talk about. And she also hosted the syndicated television talk show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, from 2003 to 2022, which she received 33 daytime Emmys for. So Ellen has had, by anyone's definition, a very successful career. Like, Ellen has been there. Oh my God, I forgot to include the COVID video. I couldn't find it. I remember looking for it, couldn't find it, was like, whatever, I'll come back to this and include it later, and then later never happened. Had a phase where I was obsessed with her old sitcom and regret to inform you it's actually pretty funny. We're literally going to watch clips of it. Oh my God, Venmo donation or Venmo gifts. Gifts. It's a gift, not a donation. Legally speaking, this is a gift. Becca, thank you for $5. Rachel, thank you for 15. Thank you. And here, so let me look. We have like roughly $900 left, and on my thing the counter is always wrong, but it says that 263 people are here. So that means if every one of you donated $3.42, I think we would be at our goal. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to give $1, I don't want to give $2. The majority of these are 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever. If you have any money that you would like to send over for a better computer, thank you. If you do not, or you are stressed about money, please do not send me any money. If you are worried about paying your bills, literally do not send me money. Focus on your bills. But if you just have some like dick around money and you're like, wow, Miss Redacted would really slay with a purple Mac desktop, just feel free to let me know. Like, just let us know. You know what I mean? Also, I really wish that my graphic automatically updated, but it doesn't. So I update it every week. But anyway, back to Ellen. So early life and education. She was born in Louisiana to Elizabeth Jane Betty, who was a speech therapist, and Elliot Everett DeGeneres, who was an insurance agent. So like quite literally just like very much middle class vibes. She has one brother, Vance, who's a musician and a producer, and she's of French, English, German, and Irish descent. And this is the interesting part that we'll be talking more about. She was raised as a Christian Scientist. If y'all don't know, Christian Science is a crazy ass religion. Like, not to yuck anybody's yum, but like it's an objectively wild group of people. Like anyone should be able to practice whatever religion they want to do, whatever, but Christian Science is a fucking choice. Like, it is a choice. So her parents filed for separation. Oh my goodness, Venmo. Elle Nye, the Christian Scientist. She also has a connection to Bill Nye that we'll be discussing. Thank you, Dana for $5, Kaya for $5, Christina for $3.42, Allie for $6.90. Thank you, Tyler for $10, and Adlin for $5. Oh my god, this person sent it as a gift. How does that work? Well, fun. There's little dogs. That's fun. $5. Thank you. Thank you. That is from Carolyn. Shancy, thank you for subscribing. So, Ellen's parents got divorced. That's unfortunate. So like, there's a lot of things in Ellen's past that I'm like, oh, I get why you're fucked up. Like, I get why you have issues, but like, also, there's a lot of people who have gone through this stuff who aren't like that. So maybe don't do that. I love sending the fun gift ones. So her parents filed for separation in 1973 and were divorced the following year. Shortly after, her mother married Roy Grusendorf. Roy Grusendorf literally sounds like a cartoon villain, and he went on to be really abusive and terrible. So like, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like, that is such a fucking villain name. Grusendorf, the salesman. I cannot think of a less trustworthy name than Grusendorf, the salesman. Like, it doesn't even say what he sells. Like, I'm scared. So Betty Jane and Ellen moved with Grusendorf from New Orleans to Atlanta, Texas. I love small towns that are named after just a city that's nicer. I don't know, like, if it's in hopes of people mixing up the two. Like, Atlanta, Georgia? No, not the large metropolitan area. This is Atlanta, Texas. Or, like, there's a Paris, like a Paris, Alabama, or something like that. Like, just a state that people don't like. Manhattan, Kansas, Paris. Oh, Paris is in Texas, too? Is this a Texas thing? Like, oh my god, a parking lot. Thank you for being here. Rome, Georgia. Like, exactly. Like, no one is in Paris, Texas. Like, oh, it's Paris. Like, do they have like a little Eiffel Tower there? I just think it's so funny when they're named after different places. Vance stayed with his father. So not only did Ellen's parents get divorced and then she moved in with this Grusendorf character, her brother wasn't living with her either, which I don't like when people separate siblings. I think like having a sibling is like a cool bond. You should try and like, you know, encourage that. I really wish I had more in this top. I'm like having a lot of regrets and feelings. Oh, I have an idea. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, this is Project Runway right now. I'm tucking it into the back of my bra so that it stays where I want it. There we go. That kind of worked. Okay. So like I said, Christian Science jump scare. Christian Science is a religious denomination that was founded in 1879. Religion has to be old. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry. It's got to be old. This is too young. This is not good. This is too young to be a religion. So it was founded in 1879 in the United States. I'm also very suspicious of any religion that's founded in the United States. Where is it? The author of the book that contains definitive statements of its teachings, that's Mary Baker Eddy. It is widely known for its highly controversial practice of spiritual healing. So her book is titled Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, which is all right. So Christian scientists believe that spiritual healing can be achieved through a prayer and deep understanding of God's love rather than relying on traditional medical treatments. They emphasize the importance of spiritual well-being and view illness as a result of incorrect thinking that can be corrected through prayer and a greater understanding of divine truth. Central to their teachings is the idea that the material world is illusory and that the true reality lies in the spiritual realm. So basically, they don't give a fuck if they die. Like, dying is a-okay with them. They're like, that's fine. Like, if we die, that is a-okay. Christian scientists seek to live in accordance with these principles, striving for spiritual growth and relying on prayer for healing and guidance in all aspects of life. So, when I taught at a daycare, we had parents that were Christian scientists and their kids were always sick. And I was teaching their youngest, but they had 4 daughters, and all the other teachers were like, yeah, all of their kids have come here. All of them are sick all of the time. They always try and deny it and say that they're not sick, but they literally are all of the time. And then we'd always have to be like, it's like such a hard line because it's like the religious freedom is protected, but then also there's like health rules for the school. So it's, yeah, it was always, oh, it's allergies. I think it's something she ate. She's not sick. Their kids were always fucking sick. They were always sick. So like they would get really upset with us because I would be like, she cannot come here for a week because she has a fever. Like until she has not had a fever for a week, or until like she has not had a fever for 24 hours, like she cannot come back here. And then they would like not do any medical treatment, so then it would take longer for her to get better. And like it was just a fucking horrible situation to be like on the periphery of. Imagine being like, little Susie has a sniffle, so she must be straying from the Lord. And the other thing that I think is important to keep in mind is like, so Christian science is from 1879. Think about medical treatments in 1879. I can get where you'd be more into this in 1879 because I think that's when people were doing shit like fucking, oh, you have a fever, let's bleed you and let your blood out. So I could see where someone was like, well, I'm just going to do nothing. And in a lot of cases, doing nothing was better. But that's usually not the case. Like, you should do things. And, like, you know. What's happening in the chat right now? But yeah, Christian Scientism is a crazy ass religion. And I felt really, really bad for those kids that I taught that were Christian Scientists because none of them even had like medical problems per se, but like little kids going to daycare get sick a lot. And if you don't treat it, it leads to other things and you like never get fully well because you're just always fighting off stuff. Like it was just a lot. And so the mom would give them like some stuff. Like she would give them like iron supplements and things like that. And then that would cause like other issues. It was just like a hot mess express. And the worst part was like for other reasons, they were some of my favorite parents because like they were always on time. They always came to like school events. Both of them, like I really liked the way they interacted with their children. They didn't yell at their kids. Like I really liked them. Like I liked their views around discipline and stuff. So it was so hard that I was like, in literally every category, you guys are like my favorite parents to work with, but like, can you just fucking take your child to a pediatrician, please? Please! Like, it was such a time. That was such a time. I'm sick from my daycare kids right now. My God. Okay, so back to Ellen. Done talking about Christian Scientist. So Ellen DeGeneres had a Netflix special, and she kind of talked about the Christian Scientism stuff within the special. So she said, I was raised Christian Scientist. It was a religion. It's a religion that does not believe in doctors or medicine. So I spent my entire childhood, never had any vaccination, never had any medicine. They believe we are spiritual beings and have a material experience in the material world. And their mantra was know the truth. And the truth was there's no pain unless you give it pain with your mind. Unfortunately, DeGeneres said she had an accident when she was 10 and needed medical intervention. So she said, I split my knee open and the bone was exposed. And my dad told me to know the truth. I said, well, the truth is my bone is exposing itself to the material world, help me. And then I passed out. So I don't really know what happened. I don't know if they gave her stitches or anything like that. She knew nothing about medicine and she thought that aspirin was like an illicit substance. She said, my grandmother lived with us and when I was a little girl, any aspirin commercial came on the air, she would get up from the sofa, go to the TV and turn it down and stand in front of it and hum a hymn really loudly. This is like strong Duggar energy. Like, very strong Duggar energy. So you can imagine my fascination with aspirin when I was a little girl. Like, what is aspirin? I would be in the car, we would drive by a pharmacy, and I'd be like, I'm gonna get aspirin someday. My parents divorced when I was 13, and I went through sort of a bad girl phase. I was on aspirin 1 or 2 a day. I know I was on aspirin a lot. So that's one thing is like, we're going to talk about a lot of things Ellen has done that are really fucking bad. But one thing I won't say is that she's not funny and that she hasn't been through some shit. Like, real can recognize real. You know what I mean? So trigger warning, men being awful, sexual assault. So we'll talk about this pretty briefly. So just like tune out for a couple minutes if this is triggering to you. So when she was 15 or 16 years old, DeGeneres was molested by her stepfather, Grusendorf. Used the fact that Ellen's mother had recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, basically, and was like, oh, your mom has breast cancer. I need to do exams on you. So when I said Gusendorf is literally like cartoon evil, like he is fucking evil. Like he literally used probably the most difficult thing a child could really go through. Their mother being diagnosed with cancer just is very hard for a kid, especially an older kid who understands things. But then to use that and like fucking spin it on them and then like use that to abuse them and like use that vulnerability to be predatory towards them is absolutely insane. Like just like literally men deserve nothing. They are awful. They're so like they're literally just so fucking bad. I cannot. Eventually, he tried to break down her door and sexually assault her, which prompted her to run away from home, and she spent the night in a hospital. I tried to find more information on that. I really couldn't. And DeGeneres told her mother about the abuse a few years later, but her mom did not believe her and remained married to Gusendorf for 18 years afterwards. She finally realized DeGeneres had been telling the truth when his accounts of his behavior towards his stepdaughter kept changing, and then Gusendorf died in 1997. So one thing is at least he's dead. You know what I mean? So DeGeneres graduated from Atlanta High School in 1976 after completing her first years of high school at Grace King High School in Metairie. Remember we said she moved. And then she moved back to New Orleans to attend the University of New Orleans, where she majored in communication studies. After one semester, she left school to do clerical work at a law firm with her cousin, Laura Gillen. Her early jobs included a stint at JCPenney and waitressing at TGA Fridays and another restaurant. She worked as a house painter, a hostess, and a bartender, and she relates much of her childhood and career experiences in her comedic work. Hold on. So mom finally figured it out, but did she stay with him until he died? I think she figured it out when he was like almost dead. I don't think she ever left him for it because then I think he died. So here's some pictures of Ellen. There's her as a baby. Here's her as a kid. That's her brother and her mom. Here's Ellen as like a teenager. There's another young Ellen pic. And then Ellen posted this on Instagram. This is her when she was 15, apparently. So oh, it's fucking good. Just to give some context about her early life and all of that. So, her early career. She started performing stand-up at small clubs and coffee houses. By 1981, she was an MC at Clyde's Comedy Club in New Orleans. This is one thing I have heard. I love the podcast Celebrity Memoir Book Club, and both of those podcast hosts do stand-up, and they said in some ways it's easier to like become top of the game in stand-up if you're doing it like not in LA or New York, because there's so much competition in LA and New York that they said basically like if you're in a smaller city, you can kind of become known more because any famous comedians that go on tour, you might get to like be the, what's it called? Like the warm-up person, like the person that comes before. I forget what that's called. You can be the before person or like introduce them or whatever because like it's faster to become the best comedian in New Orleans than it is in like a major city. Yeah, the opener. Yeah, so that's what they're saying, which I thought was interesting. And they were talking about it in the context of Ali Wong, who became like a stand-up comic in San Francisco, I think. So they were basically saying like, yeah, San Francisco is a big city, but it's not known for stand-up. So like there's going to be stand-up in any big city, but there's a lot less competition there than there would be other places, which I thought was very interesting. So anyway, DeGeneres cites Woody Allen and Steve Martin as her main influences at this time. In the early 1980s, she began to tour nationally. In 1984, she was named Showtime's Funniest Person in America, and she got her big break in 1986 when she performed her stand-up routine on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. More appearances on late-night TV followed, along with club bookings and eventually theater appearances and small TV roles. She landed her first regular small-screen gig as a cast member on the Fox sitcom Open House, which aired from 89 to 90, so not really that long of a time. Trigger warning, Woody Allen. Yeah, sorry about that. I was like reading it and like obviously I knew that, but it wasn't like on my mind at that moment, so I didn't really like think to trigger warning Woody Allen. Here is Ellen doing stand-up in 1992. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but just to give you context. It's 29 minutes, so obviously we're not watching the whole thing. Very 90s. I miss Miami. I hate being poor. Full middle class.
Miami Beach, Florida. HBO presents Ellen DeGeneres. Starring in a command performance of
She looks just like my Girl Scout leader.
And now here's Ellen DeGeneres.
It's like if Owen Wilson was less.
That felt good. Thank you very much.
They just aren't doing intros
Good
like
to be
this
back
anymore.
in Miami. This is my favorite place in the land, and well, it is. I mean, of course, you know I say that everywhere I go, but I mean it here. Great place, man. Everybody's so friendly, and I'm just hanging out at the beach today, and people coming up to me. This guy came up and said, "Hey, you know, you're on my towel." You know, it's just really great.
See, this is funny.
So thanks for gathering here. In case you're not aware, I'm a comedian, and this is an HBO special. And it's a weird job to be a comedian, I think, because, you know, you get a lot of people asking questions, and, you know, I guess the most commonly asked question I get, number one, would be, number one, what is your favorite land mammal? Then, after that, number two, would be why I'm a comedian, how that happened. Was my family funny? Was my childhood
I'll
weird?
skip ahead a little bit.
And,
That's the thing about stand-up is like a lot of good stand-up, like a set like this, is like long stories, so it's kind of hard to get like a quick feel of their style.
Told me it was kindergarten. I found out later I'd been working in a factory for 2 years.
That seems funny.
Went home. Well, we went home and laughed and laughed and laughed. Well, and you know, the funny thing is they weren't even real Indians. They were actors my dad hired to play Indians.
Oh, that did not age well.
Just to fool
Sorry
me.
about that.
Because I'll still see him today on an old rerun of a Love Boat or a movie of the week with McLean Stevenson, and I'll go, "Oh, hey, there's Running Steve," you know.
This is taking a
That's
different
not his name,
turn than
know
I
that
thought
now,
it would.
But he was always playing jokes. So I remember one time I was coming home from kindergarten. Well, they told me it was kindergarten. I found out later I'd been working in a factory for 2 years.
Okay, so we're gonna move on, but you get it. Ellen was doing stand-up in the 90s. So here's her in 1991. She won Best Female Comedian. The way that this looks like an outfit that someone would wear in 2022. Did she voice Dory? Yes, she did voice Dory, for anyone that does not know that. She sounds like Kate from John and Kate Will Say, not me having that hairstyle. Yeah, time is really a circle. Styles come and go. So let's get into her TV career. She kind of made a name for herself doing stand-up, and then she had a TV career. So DeGeneres' first regular TV role was on that short-lived Fox show we talked about, Open House. She played the role of Margot Van Peter, an office worker at a real estate company. Oh my God, stop. That's literally so me. The show co-starred Allison LaPlacha and Mary Page Keller. In 92, producers Neil Martins and Carol Beck cast DeGeneres in their sitcom Laurel Hill in the role of Nurse Nancy McIntyre. The series was canceled after only 4 episodes, but Marlins and Black were so impressed with DeGeneres' performance that they cast her in their next ABC pilot, These Friends of Mine, which they co-created with David Rosenthal. And this was her first television show. It ran from 94 to 98. It was called These Friends of Mine. It was later named Ellen. Debuted on ABC and ran for 4 years and produced 109 episodes. Her comedy career became the basis of the sitcom Ellen. The ABC show was popular in its first few seasons due to DeGeneres' style of observational humor. It was often referred to as the female Seinfeld. So if you've seen Seinfeld, it's a similar vibe. This is a promo. This is from 1994. This is season 1 when it was called These Friends of Mine.
Meet Ellen DeGeneres.
Now smile.
That's okay.
It's a shame when a pretty girl like you doesn't want to smile.
Oh, for God's sakes, would you just take the picture?
Now, meet some
Ooh, someone asked a good question. Ellen had not come out as a lesbian at this point in time. We will talk about her coming out. It was not before or during this time.
of her friends.
Nobody's driver's license picture looks good.
Mine's okay.
I love mine.
Yes, there's nothing like friends to see you through when real life reels you in.
I was at the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. Of course, you know that. Big, strong, handsome policeman like you. Tall, too. Your crotch comes right up to my window. Hello! Can I get some fries with that ticket?
And sometimes real life
Hey, high school reunion. Are you going?
What does that egg yolk tell you?
can be real funny.
You want a husband for this thing? Is that it?
Look, even if I did, I'm not sure that you'd be the particular model I would choose to go with.
The offer's out there.
Thank you. If I ever get the overwhelming need to start making stuff up about myself. What sort of work do you do? I'm a cardiologist.
That's great. Fantastic.
Oh, Adam, honey, come here. I would like you all to meet my husband, Adam. What is it you do, Adam?
I'm a brain surgeon.
Any kids?
Kids.
Lots of kids.
4 kids.
One for each major artery.
It's ABC's newest funny lady, Ellen DeGeneres, and these friends of mine, coming later this month here on ABC.
So that's the promo for the show. Sorry that the audio was so grainy. And then here is the intro to it, because I'm glad someone earlier said they just don't make intros like they used to. It's literally like so awkward. Yes, we do start at 7 p.m. now. High school textbook vibes. I miss intros like this. Them playing basketball in the desert? Like, I'm so sorry, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, just them watching TV at night in the desert, NBD. Sorry, I saw that, so I really needed you guys to see that, because you're right, it really is school textbook vibes. It's a very nostalgic fever dream. Very much the vibe that's happening. Oh wait, let me put my computer on Do Not Disturb. Okay, so anyway, back to Ellen. She was at the Governor's Ball after the Emmy Awards in 1994. There's a pic of Ellen there, and I agree. I think the longer hair and the curtain bangs suited her face a lot better, personally. And then in 1995, she published her first book entitled My Point, and I do have one. So here is really in her short hair era, very much Princess Di. Can you model your merch out of pocket like that? A wiki parking lot. Thank you so much. I have been stressed over how to take photos of my merch, because obviously I want the photos to be of me. That's what makes the most fucking sense. But I hate taking pictures of myself. I hate being in photos. I hate the picture taking experience. I hate it. Textbook photo shoot. Do the photo shoot at JCPenney in the weird 90s style. Another great idea, because you can still go to JCPenney. I'm going to do that. Thank you. Like, everyone's ideas coming together. Who had Panda Girl and a wiki parking lot? Thank you so much. We are going textbook 1990s. Thank you. That's very exciting stuff. And for everyone wondering about the merch, I'm almost done. The last thing to set up is the payment stuff, and I'm going to the bank tomorrow to open a new bank account, because I didn't want to mix this in with just my regular checking account, because that would make everything super fucking confusing when I have to do my taxes. So hopefully after tomorrow, that's what I mean. When I tell y'all I'm almost done, I genuinely believe that, and then I just discover other problems that I have to get done. Okay, but anyway. So Ellen's book, 95, my point, and I do have one, literally me. So I told you that there was going to be a Bill Nye cameo. So Ellen DeGeneres starred in a series of films for a show named Ellen's Energy Adventure, which was part of the universe of energy attraction at Epcot. I thought it was Universal. Oh, I fucked this up. In the game, it says Universal. Sorry about that. Why did I think it was Universal? I guess because it said Universe. But anyway, it was at Disney Epcot. The film also featured Bill Nye, Alex Trebek, Michael Richards, and Jamie Lee Curtis. The show evolved around DeGeneres falling asleep and finding herself in an energy-themed version of Jeopardy, playing against an old rival portrayed by Curtis and Albert Einstein. I'm assuming Albert Einstein wasn't in the show. Like, it was like a character played by someone. Anyway, the next film had DeGeneres co-hosting an educational look at energy with Nye. The ride first opened in September 15, 1996 as Ellen's Energy Crisis, but was given a more positive sounding name, Ellen's Energy Adventure. So here is her ride at Disney, but it was closed in 2017. Has anyone been on this? Has anyone been on this ride? That was the ride for when you wanted to cool off from the heat. A very important ride at that. Oh my god, I'm so glad you guys have been on it. Tell me everything. This feels like a fever dream. Energy crisis is very fitting today. We are in a crisis. Yeah, it closed in 2017. It's not that long ago. But let's get to what people have already been asking about. When did Ellen come out? So Ellen broke barriers by coming out on national television. Keep in mind, this is in the 90s. This is when gay marriage was not legal in the United States in the majority of states. Sorry. I hate when I choke on my own spit. This is before we had gay representation on TV like we do today. This is before we had people like out as celebrities. It was just a very, very, very different time for gay people living, especially in the United States, but all over the world. So for Ellen to come out on TV was like a massive deal. I know to us, it's like someone comes out every 2 minutes, but keep in mind, it's 1997. It's a very different vibe for gay people than what we have in 2023. Even though it wasn't that long ago, culturally, it was a very different time. So DeGeneres came out as a lesbian on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and then her character on the sitcom also came out of the closet to her therapist, who was played by Oprah Winfrey. And the coming out episode was one of the highest rated episodes of the show. So obviously we are going to talk about it. I tried to find her coming out on Oprah, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But I found another clip of her on Oprah that we can watch.
Why do you think that is? I don't know. I guess I thought if I just ignored it, it'd just go away and I could just live a normal life.
Ellen did a lot for
What is a
visibility.
normal life, Ellen? I don't know. Normal. I mean, just same thing everybody wants. I want a house with a picket fence, a dog, a cat, Sunday barbecues, someone to love, someone who loves me, someone I can build a life with. I just want to be happy.
And you think you can't have these things with a woman?
Well, society has a pretty big problem with it, I mean, there are a lot of people out there who think people like me are sick. Oh, God, why did I ever rent personal best?
You can't blame this on the media, Ellen.
If Oprah was a therapist, I might actually go to therapy.
It isn't going to be easy. No one has it.
And to clarify, someone said, why does it seem like she's acting? This is her sitcom. This is not Ellen playing, this is not Ellen IRL. This is Ellen in the sitcom, where the character's name is also Ellen. So they're both acting.
You don't understand. Do you think I want to be discriminated against? Do you think that I want people calling me names to my face?
Have people commit hate crimes against you just because you're not like them?
Thank you.
You have to use separate bathrooms and separate water fountains and sit in the back of the bus.
Oh, man, we have to use separate water fountains?
I hate a laugh track.
I know. I guess, you have to admit, it's not exactly an accepted thing. I mean, you never see a cake that says, good for you, you're gay. Maybe the Baskin Robbins in West Hollywood.
Okay, then, Ellen, I'll say it. Good for you. You're gay. So what are you going to do now?
I'm going to Disneyland.
So that is her coming out on her sitcom. So she's acting. I hate a laugh track. I hate it so much. Now we do. Have you done Oprah? Yes, I did Oprah. Was that last week or maybe the week before? I think it was the week before. Yeah. What did I do last week? Who knows? Oh, Phyllis Schlafly. I did Phyllis Schlafly last week. I did Oprah the week before that. I loved the Disneyland joke, not the stream, the show. So this is her in 1997 on Ellen. I don't know if this is when she came out on Ellen. It was very hard for me to find old Oprah
Today
clips.
she's coming out with her new girlfriend.
I saw Ellen across a crowded room.
Talk about being in the hot seat.
Why did you think it was necessary to come out?
Because it is okay.
The openly gay Ellen is facing an audience for the first time.
Do you want to know I'm straight? I'm not on the cover saying, yep, I'm straight. Time has been asking how to get in touch with you.
I had no idea about this.
I was scared to death if you knew I was gay that you wouldn't like me.
Did you think that about other people too?
Just you.
That was funny. That was really funny. I'm sorry.
First interview with her new girlfriend. Next.
Okay, so that's her on Oprah talking about being gay. Again, I don't know if that's the episode she came out during. I don't think it is. But regardless, her coming out was a very big deal. She was one of the first celebrities that really came out publicly, like, in this way. And it just did a lot for visibility, and it did a lot for people. So even though we're going to talk about a lot of not good things that she did, I think it's important to recognize that she really did move the needle, and she really did make a difference to a lot of people by coming out. And I think, like, that's, like, again, like I just said, I just think that's important to say, because I don't want to just, like, discount all these amazing things that happened during this time because she was, like, a dick to her employees later, you know? So I just wanted to talk about this. I've never had this context before. Exactly. And I didn't really, like, I knew this, but I hadn't really seen it, so that's why I wanted to give it. So she was also invited to host the Emmy Awards right after the 9/11 attacks because she had an ability to amuse the audience while remaining tasteful. So they hired her because they were like, we need someone who's not going to make people uncomfortable. And that's one thing that I think Ellen is really good at. Ellen is good at being funny to a wide group of people. Ellen is good at having a very, like, palatable humor, at having humor that you don't have to work very hard to understand. Didn't her show get canceled because of her coming out? I don't think so, but I know it was the highest rated. So I know that episode was the highest rated. So I can't imagine, because TV channels only care about ratings. So that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I'm not going to deny it because I don't know for sure. But her series returned for a 5th season, but experienced falling ratings and was canceled. She returned to television in 2001. With a new CBS sitcom, The Ellen Show, which was canceled after 13 episodes. In 2007, a former writer said that she treated the writers like shit, saying, why do you keep writing these unfunny jokes? So, not a great start. So then she has her talk show starting in 2003. It was a daytime television talk show. Her show consistently had risen in the Nielsen ratings and received widespread critical praise. It was nominated for 11 Daytime Emmy Awards in its first season, winning 4, including Best Talk Show. The show won 25 Emmy Awards for the first 3 seasons on air. DeGeneres is best known for dancing and singing with the audience at the beginning of the show and during commercial breaks. She often gives away free prizes and trips to be in her show's studio audience with the help of her sponsors. Ellen is problematic, but I remember enjoying her show every day as a child with my very homophobic grandmother. Exactly. Ellen did something very unique, which was, as a gay person, to get accepted into, like, mainstream American culture during this time. Very impressive, and that's what I think it really goes to show. She does have a talent for comedy and knowing her audience and knowing how to make them laugh and how to not make them uncomfortable, which I think is a skill I admire because I don't possess it. So DeGeneres celebrated her 30-year class reunion by flying her graduating class to California to be guest on her show. That's a little narcissistic. Like, if I was rich, I would just, like, throw a big party for my class reunion. Like, why did you guys have to be guest on the show? You couldn't just come to the show, like... Oh, I see what she means. Guest on her show. I thought she meant, like, the audience. I was like, to come and make them be the audience is weird. No, they were actually physically on stage with her. Okay, I think I understand now. I was like, That's a weird gift. That's a very weird gift. But anyway, she presented Atlanta High School with a surprise and new electronic LED marquee sign, and DeGeneres made a surprise appearance at Tulane May 2006 commencement in New Orleans. Following George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton to the podium, she appeared in a bathrobe and furry slippers, and she said, "They told me everyone would be wearing robes." That's what I mean. Like, that's a joke anyone is going to laugh at. It's not a deep joke. It doesn't poke fun at a serious thing. It's not a criticism of society. It's just funny. Like, you just get to laugh at that because that's just kind of funny. You know what I mean? So Ellen made another commencement speech at Tulane in 2009. The show broadcast for a week from Universal Orlando in March 2007. Skits included DeGeneres riding a Hulk roller coaster ride and the Jaws boat ride, and she was placed on bed rest in 2007 due to a torn ligament in her back. She continued hosting the show from a hospital bed tended to by a nurse, explaining the show must go on, and she had the guests sit in hospital beds as well, which I think is kind of funny. And on May 1st, 2009, she celebrated her 1,000th episode, with guests like Oprah Winfrey, Justin Timberlake, Paris Hilton, and then Jennifer Aniston and Justin Timberlake surprised her for her 2,000th episode in 2015. So very, very successful TV show. So here was the Ellen sitcom season 1. I meant to put I think these are both from the sitcom. I meant to only include her not sitcom, daytime show here, but oopsies. So here's her with the hospital bed thing. I think that, again, this is pretty funny. Yes, we are going to talk about her DJ. Like, the hospital bed gag to me is just hilarious. And that's what I mean. Like, she just has a knack for being funny in a way that's not, it's not deep. It's surface level funny, and it's just funny. And I think that that's a skill. Again, one I don't have. So her having her guest be in hospital beds, here are the men dragging her hospital bed out. Here's her doing her Universal thing. I bet this is why I thought her ride was at Universal. I fucked that up. Here's her on the show dancing with this robot. Here's her with a man on the show. But yeah, just to kind of give you some vibes of her show. I respect the absurdity of the beds, like, for real. And the fact, at first, the reason I showed you so many pictures is because when I read it, I was like, oh, I guess they started filming the show like from a private hospital, or she got like a hospital bed put in her house. I know a lot of rich people do that. So I thought it was going to be that. But the fact that it was just her same set, but they put the bed on the set is so funny. Like, it's so absurd and it's so funny. Does bed rest literally mean in bed? Yes, usually. Bed rest usually means you're not supposed to be on your feet and being active. So it doesn't mean like you can't move from bed the whole time, but it means like that should kind of be where you are all day. Like, you can get up and go to the bathroom and stuff like that, but like you can't be just like up and about moving around. So her American Idol era, DeGeneres replaced Paula Abdul as a judge on the 9th season of American Idol. Her role started after the contestant auditions at the beginning of Hollywood Week. It is reported that she signed a contract to be on the show for at least 5 seasons, but after only 1 season, she announced she would be leaving American Idol, and she said it just didn't feel like the right fit for her. So here's her on American Idol. I love Randy Jackson. Like, that's one thing. Since I was a child, I've loved Randy Jackson. Like, you know, in iCarly, when they go in the teacher's house and she's obsessed with Randy Jackson, that's me. Like, that's actually so understandable. You guys, no one agrees? It's a yes from me, dog. Like, okay, I thought this was a safe space. The iCarly episode. Okay, thank you, Whoa, it's Amanda. Like, I felt like Randy Jackson let them down in a very nice way, and I appreciated that. I've always been a fan of his judging style on American Idol. He just seems like a nice guy. Ellen on American Idol. I just don't think that this is a great fit for me. Like, I can't take the pressure of it. I'm glad to hear some Randy Jackson love happening here. So the New York Times profiled DeGeneres in 2018 as she was faced with the decision of renewing her talk show contract and was exploring other outlets for creativity, including her Netflix comedy special. They noted that she felt boxed in with her reputation of always being the nice host who danced all the time. I thought that this was so fucking weird. The fact that she said she felt boxed in by being nice. Like, if I went out in the world and people were like, oh, I've worked with Miss Redacted. She always is really nice. Everyone always says she's really nice. I would take that like as a very high compliment. I would be like, wow, I'm so honored that when people think of me, the first thing they think of is she's really nice. Like, you should be like so grateful for that. So the fact that she's like, I feel so boxed in that people think I'm nice, I just think that's so weird. I think that that's such a red flag, and it's such a weird thing to say. Excuse you, Ellen isn't nice. She takes aspirin now. Yeah, like it was just odd. I just didn't like that comment. You know what I mean? So, thank you for sticking with me through 50 minutes and 34 slides of Ellen lore. Now we can get to what I know you all came here for, and that is motherfucking mess. So let's talk about, why do people hate Ellen? How did Ellen fuck up? We're in it now. We're in it now. And unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about everything because there's so fucking much. So I just kind of picked like the worst things or the things that I felt to be noteworthy. So here's the first one, the Is Mariah Carey Pregnant Ellen interview. I literally get filled with rage fucking watching this. No one spoil like what's going on. I want people to watch this with fresh eyes, just like I did. So don't tell people what's happening.
The other thing is that people are saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors.
Don't discuss that.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
No, that's okay. No, honestly,
you don't have to answer me. Let's just toast with champagne and decide.
But
if,
they've been saying that since we. I can have some champagne. It's just fattening. So,
you can't have champagne.
That's not champagne because you can't.
No, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah. You want to taste it?
I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen.
What?
She's so uncomfortable.
I'm not going to ask you if you're pregnant.
This is peer pressure. You see what Ellen is doing? This is peer pressure.
No. Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, then we should.
My goodness. I can't believe that.
Look at the way she's smiling.
Really close to that. How about to the future?
You can
And
really.
for both of our futures, who knows what they hold?
Who knows? All
She's
right,
handling it very
Okay,
well.
cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's too early for me. I only drink it after 3 p.m.
Yeah. You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You are pregnant.
So that was fucking horrifying, and a little bit of a trigger warning for this next slide. Carrie later confirmed that she was pregnant at the time of the interview, but miscarried soon after. And she said, I wasn't ready to tell anyone because I had had a miscarriage. Literally, that is so fucking evil of Ellen to put her in that situation. Like, that is so nasty and so disgusting and so fucking evil. Like, right? Right? Like, I just wanted you guys to see that and experience the information like I did, because, like, how does Ellen sleep at night? Like, how do you sleep at night knowing you put someone into that situation? Like, and it wasn't an accident. Like, literally, if you should never ask someone if they're pregnant, A. But if you do and they say, like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, I'm so sorry, move on. Like, it's just really messed up. And I'm sure there were a lot of rumors that Mariah Carey was pregnant. And so I'm sure Mariah Carey's team told the Ellen team, like, this is how these media interview works. You give a list of what you can and cannot ask about beforehand. I am sure that they said, do not ask about pregnancy. I am sure of it. I'm sure that was on Mariah Carey's do not ask list. Absolutely. Don't even have to think about it. This might be funny if they were both in on it and Mariah Carey had wanted to share. Exactly. Like, if Mariah Carey was choosing to announce her pregnancy on the Ellen show and this is how they did it, I think that this is really funny. Like, I think that it's a funny bit if everyone's in on the joke. But that's the whole thing, is like, when Ellen makes these kind of jokes, not everyone is in on the joke. But she kind of leads you to believe that everyone is in on the joke. So you don't realize how mean it is. I'm not going to ask if someone's pregnant unless I see a baby crowning. Even then, I'm going to be like, whatever, man. What'd you have for lunch today? Like, we can talk about that at any time. How are you feeling? So this is just like a montage of Ellen being super rude. So we probably are going to watch the whole thing. And And the audio might be weird because I'm assuming it's to get around copyright.
Jesse?
Well, that's not fair because Jesse was in my music video and Niall's a friend of mine.
Well, we don't care about either of those things. Look at him. He is beautiful, but look at his hair. When are you going to cut that hair?
Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem. That is some long hair.
To say, it's amazing, right? You cut some people shave the head of their children, and people say, oh, isn't that terrible? Well, I don't even cut my son's hair, and they say, oh my God, when is she gonna cut her son's hair?
Right.
You know?
And as the atmosphere in the studio turned frosty, it's very obvious that Ellen has hit a nerve. Despite the host's best attempts to move the conversation along, the awkwardness continued to linger.
Whatever I will do, I won't please everyone.
Right.
But something that I can reassure every mother here, the long hair, do you know that Renee Charles makes his own decisions most of the time?
Renee Charles was your son.
Happy for her, she wanted a baby. Saying she's going to be a single mom, and he is going to be a lot to deal with.
She's talking about Kim K and Kanye, Wendy Williams says.
Have you ever met either of them?
Yes.
Both?
Yes. Not together.
Yes, separately though.
Well, yeah, he's been spending most of his time in Europe since she's been pregnant.
Right. Well, he's touring, right?
Look, I don't know.
She knows Kanye. They've known each other for a long time. She had to know who he is, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't think that you find out the fiber of who somebody is until you're actually living under one roof and sharing, space.
Yeah.
I don't really know why this isn't here. This is just awkward.
How is he with his mother being so outspoken? Is he proud of you, or do you embarrass him sometimes? Because most kids with a mom that just says whatever she feels would be embarrassed. About your time in prison.
I didn't go to prison.
That was kind of funny.
No? No. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of my questions for T.I. Okay, so...
Unnecessary.
Martha? You've sexted? Do you know what that is?
I have used technology for a lot longer than you have, Ellen.
I love how Martha Stewart fucking ate her in that. Just to clarify what was going on there, those celebrities were holding I have not little signs. And Ellen said, have you sexted? And Martha sexted, like sexy texting. And Martha Stewart put up, I have. And Ellen was like, Martha, what? Do you even know how to do that? And Martha said, I've been using technology for a lot longer than you have, Ellen. Oh. Murder on aisle 7. Go Martha. We love that.
All right. To who? Is it someone current or is this a while ago?
It doesn't say none of your business.
In jail over there right now.
This is, so the context here, she had out like free stuff for guests, and this lady like took a bunch of it, and then she like literally like publicly shamed her on the show.
Steal stuff back there. Come here. This way. Never have I ever gotten kicked out of a bar.
I just turned 21.
Be honest.
I just turned
Turn that
21.
thing around, Justin.
Never have I ever had sex with more than two different people in one day.
Two different people in a day, Madonna?
Here's the thing.
Well, what?
I want it to be special for my wife.
I don't buy that.
All
right.
Stick with Timmy because, even if it's just a platonic relationship, I think we can have a nice companionship together. And Harry's on the road a lot, and it's very stressful being with someone.
You're so bad at this game. Okay. Really, you're not going to ever date. Dating a teenager because it is whatever, he just says things and it's just...
Okay, so yeah, just some general clips of Ellen being awkward and rude. I have a couple other examples of this. So one is asking Taylor Swift about her ex-boyfriends, which was pretty standard in 2013, but Ellen took it a step further. The host put various pictures of men Swift had met on screen and asked the singer to ring a bell when the subject of "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together" appeared. So basically she was trying to figure out who the song was about. Swift asked DeGeneres to stop the game and told the host, "It makes me feel so bad about myself. Every time I come up here, you just put like a different dude up there on the screen, and it just really makes me question what I stand for as a human being." Didn't she make Taylor cry? Yes. So this is Ellen bullying Taylor Swift for 5 minutes straight.
Hello, everyone! American Sweetheart is coming through, and Taylor Swift is with me.
That was a little funny. See what I mean? She is funny.
Let's talk about your fear of sea urchins.
Don't even sea urchins.
We sent you through the haunted hallway, and we wanted to see how you do in our haunted hallway.
Haunted things.
I don't want to go in it. Do you guys hear the music you're playing?
I don't want
My friend microwave smells?
I don't have one. I keep telling you that. I don't have like even kind of a boyfriend.
Not even kind.
I don't have someone that I'm texting that's a guy that might someday be my boyfriend. There's like nothing going on right now.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you get over this fear. Tell everybody your new fear.
It's like a bug that I found out about called an earwig that has pictures.
I'm going to help you get over that fear. They live outdoors, okay? They're found under lawn clippings and compost or in tree holes. And they're not, I mean, they're just earwigs.
Stop! Stop!
I don't like haunted things either. I don't like when things jump out at me. I don't understand how that's fun for people. I wouldn't freak out this hard. It doesn't scare me as bad, but I don't understand how it's enjoyable for people.
I hated it.
These producers, man.
There's like, and the only reason I'm doing it is because there's rumors out there that y'all are together. And I guess people are constantly saying everyone just assumes you're together. So I'm going to help clear that up. If you want them to know you're lovers, you wear that one. Then you can change it. If you're not, you say we're just friends. And then you can change it and say we only hooked up once.
Ellen makes me feel so happy, just joyful.
This is a lie.
What are you doing? Why do you do stuff like that all the time?
So Taylor, I'm going to have you demonstrate some of the things that I taught you in order to be a cover girl, okay?
Okay.
Okay. First of all, you have to squint. So squint. Okay. Squint more like you're looking right into the sun. The sun is blinding. You're squinting. Right. And now, pouch your little lips. You poof your lips out like that. Your lips like you're trying to get a straw and someone's moving it away from you. Squint while doing it. Squinting.
Very true about Ellen being the meanest to women. Interesting.
Get the straw. And cover girls never walk. They don't walk. They trot. They trot like horses trying to avoid puddles. So squint and try to get the straw. Squint and try to get. And don't get.
Okay, yeah. So her just being an asshole to Taylor Swift, which is not that chill. And then this is her being an asshole to Blake Shelton. Let me get it to the right spot.
That's from Ugly Dolls. Now, which I couldn't recognize your voice. Which
So we made a whole
that's
day
great.
out of it. It was a lot of fun. I'm literally right now waiting for somebody to jump out from behind.
No,
me
we're
and
done.
scare me.
We're done.
I'm sorry if I'm okay.
No, we're done.
Okay.
But back to Gwen. So here's what happened.
This is how you set it up last time.
I know.
Okay.
So Jennifer Lopez was here, and I wanted to help her out with A-Rod because she wanted to marry him, obviously, like Gwen wants to marry you. And I gave her a clock, and just to remind that, she could give to him that the clock is ticking, that time is passing.
Yeah.
So I gave her that clock, and literally like a week later, he proposed to her. So what I want to do, yeah, that's true.
I want her to bully Blake Shelton.
So Mother's Day is coming up. I have something for you to give her, and I think. Look. Yeah.
Oh!
See.
So you're saying this is my. There's a chance she's going to ask me to marry her.
Yeah.
You're saying with this clock.
Yeah, with this clock, because.
Okay, see how I flipped it around and put it on her.
Yeah. So now that she knows that you're waiting for her to ask, now that she sees this, she'll ask you. I'll call her tonight.
Okay.
All right. I'll tell her
Please,
she's
my
waiting
God.
for you. All right.
Who wouldn't want it? I mean,
That's
who
going
wouldn't
above
want
the
that?
bed.
I
No,
mean,
that's
my
going
God,
right above the
of
bed.
course.
So, yeah, he gives her this clock, and then there's a part of this that I thought I included. But basically, he came back later and talked about it, and I feel like it's in here. Oh, here's the rest of it. So that was first clock incident. Here's clock incident part 2.
I've been nominated before, but not as many times as you. Let's talk about Gwen.
No, that part I think is funny. I think it's funny to give it to the man and be like, propose motherfucker. This is the part I wanted you guys to see.
Now, I gave you a clock. Remember that clock I gave you?
Yeah.
To remind you, time is ticking.
Yeah. But you didn't give it to me. Like, I walked backstage, and somebody back there was like, hey, thanks for being on the show. Can I have that? And they took it, and I haven't seen it. So time didn't really start ticking at that moment.
We haven't given it to you?
No.
Well, that's not right. We can't. Why do we
Took
need
it back because whoever your next guest was, you replaced the picture and did the same.
No.
He really called her out. That's why I showed y'all. Not because I could care about Blake Shelton, but I thought that this was funny that he pointed out how she does a lot of the same. She does a lot of the fucked up stuff to the same people. Now, the most important part of tonight's stream, the Dakota Johnson incident, November 27th, 2019. This is like literally so important.
It's good to see you. Happy belated birthday. When was your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of shit about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who doesn't want to be invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
Of course I like you. You knew I liked you. You've been on the show many times, and don't I show like?
Yeah. But I did invite you, and you didn't come. So.
This time you invited me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How do you know? I don't think so.
Ask everybody. Ask Jonathan, the producer. Who said you were?
I was invited? Why didn't I go?
I don't know.
Was it? Oh yeah, I had that thing. It was probably in Malibu. That's too far for me to go to.
Yeah.
This is so embarrassing.
Yeah. No, I think I do remember I was invited. Thank you. You're welcome. No, but I really didn't remember that until just now. And then,
Okay, then they talk about this other comedian that performed at her party and it gets whatever. That was really what you all needed to see. Literally crazy. So some other stories that I found. It's gonna start to get a little worse, so I kind of wanted to show you like the awkward TV moments, and then we'll get into like the way she treated not famous people, which, spoiler alert, she treated not famous people a lot worse than the famous people. It really goes downhill from here. So, yes, we will be talking about her with George Bush at the baseball game. So Tom Majorkak was hired to protect her as a bodyguard. It was to protect Ellen, her mom, and her wife Portia as they attended the 86th Academy Awards, which Ellen DeGeneres was hosting. And he said, I'm holding their hands, walking them through individuals and large crowds of people. Ellen is the one person I've been assigned to, and I've been signed to quite a few celebrities that has never taken the time to say hi to me. The person that's there to protect you, you should be very nice to them. Majoric said that Portia's wife was that Ellen DeGeneres' wife, Portia, was very pleasant throughout the evening and carried on a conversation. But things started going negatively when Portia introduced him to Ellen. Ellen pretty much just gave me a side glance out of her eye and didn't even say hello or thank you for protecting my mother, wife, and me. He told Fox News it was very cold and she was very sly and kind of demeaning in the way she treats people other than those who are in her circle. So, not good way to treat staff around you, especially a bodyguard. They're there to protect you, so be fucking nice. So this guy, Neil, had Ellen on his radio show in Australia. And it was the Australia Today show at the time. So according to Bren, DeGeneres' involvement on the show got watered down from co-hosting to doing a sit-down interview in Melbourne where his crew and him had to fly at their own expense to tape the segment. So originally she was supposed to come co-host a show with him, and then she was like, just kidding, come to this other place and I'll do one interview with you, which this is normal. Things in TV change all of the time. I do want to give Ellen the grace of, I don't think it's weird that this happened. I don't think it's a good, but this is just kind of how the TV world tends to work. People cancel a lot and people change their mind a lot, and things are very last minute, especially on a daily television show. So just to kind of give that context. But Australian TV presenter Richard Wilkins was set to interview DeGeneres, but Bren said that he and the rest of his team had received a very specific set of rules for when working with her. He said, the producers called us aside and said, this is how it's going to work here this morning. Ellen's going to arrive at 10:15. She'll be sitting in this chair. Richard, you'll be sitting in this chair. According to Bren, the DeGeneres team told him, Neil, no one's to talk to Ellen. You don't talk to her. You don't approach her. You don't look at her. She'll come in. She'll sit down. She'll talk to Richard. Then Ellen will leave. Like, very specific directions. And I will also grant the context of when you have a super famous person, it is very normal for them to be on a tight schedule, but I've never heard it explained this way. Like, all the times I've been around famous people at like some kind of interview or event, which like I've gone to a fair number of things in my life, just like for various reasons. So I kind of have seen the behind the scenes. Like, this is a good example. I was working with like a local politician and they were doing an interview with Stacey Abrams. So the Abrams team got there early and they were like, Stacey's going to be here at this time. We can film from this time to this time. They gave specific rules about we could and could not ask. They wanted us to sit in the chairs and make everything perfect before she got there. All of that is really normal. What's not normal is to say you're not allowed to look at her and talk to her. Like, Stacey Abrams was literally on the campaign trail, busy as fuck, and took the time to say hi to us and literally took photos with us. Like, she didn't have to do that, and she did. It was very nice of her. So just like, I'm not saying Stacey Abrams and Ellen are like in the same category of life, but I'm just saying it's weird that they got these weird ass specific directions. And he said, I'm not blaming Ellen because I didn't get to talk to her. I don't know whether she's a nice person or not. I wouldn't have a clue, but I can tell you the people who worked with her walked on eggshells the whole time. So I think that that is very, very telling, you know? So time to discuss when Ellen's career started to go up in flames. So those are just like some periphery Ellen being mean to people moments. So July 16th, 2020, an article comes out from a BuzzFeed News reporter. It is Christy Lee Yandoli, and the title was, Former Employees Say Ellen's Be Kind talk show mantra mask a toxic work culture. Ellen DeGeneres, this is directly from this woman's article. She did really great journalism, and I hope that she was getting compensated well for it. I have a feeling she unfortunately was not. So Ellen DeGeneres has built her worldwide multi-million-dollar brand on the motto, Be Kind, with lavish giveaways and acts of charity. But behind the scenes, current and former employees on her leading daytime TV show say they faced racism, fear, and intimidation. That Be Kind bullshit only happens when the cameras are on. It's all for show, one former employee told BuzzFeed News. I know they give money to people and help them out, but it's for show. BuzzFeed News spoke to one current and 10 former employees on the Ellen DeGeneres show, all of whom asked to remain anonymous, fearing retribution from the award-winning NBC daytime talk show and others in the entertainment industry. They said that they were fired after taking medical leave or bereavement to attend family funerals. One employee said and we'll go through these in details. One employee claims she was fed up with comments about her race, essentially walked off the job. Others said they were instructed by their direct managers to not speak to DeGeneres if they saw her around the office. That is one thing that keeps coming up again and again and again, is people being told you're not allowed to look at Ellen and you're not allowed to talk to Ellen. That appears to be very thematic here. Ellen, when her staff made eye contact with her. And yes, BuzzFeed News does kind of kill it sometimes. They really do crush it on some of the things. RIP, I think they did end because of money, which is sad because the news is dying and it's a very scary time, actually. I remember writing in as a preteen trying to help my parents. Oh my God, that's so sad, I'm sorry. So most of the former employees blamed executive producers and other senior managers for the day-to-day toxicity, but one former employee said that ultimately it's Ellen's name on the show and she needs to take more responsibility for the workplace environment. If she wants to have her show on and have her name on the show title, she needs to be more involved and see what's going on, one former employee said. I think the executive producers surround her and tell her things are going great, everybody's happy, and she just believes that, but it's her responsibility to go beyond that. In a joint statement to BuzzFeed News, executive producers Ed Galvin, Mary Conley, and Andy Lassner said they take the stories of the employees very seriously. They said, Over the course of nearly 2 decades, 3,000 episodes, and employing over 1,000 staff members, we have strived to create an open, safe, and inclusive work environment. We are truly heartbroken and sorry to learn that even one person in our production family, red flag, family has had a negative experience. It's not who we are, and it's not who we strive to be, and it's not the mission Ellen has set for us. For the record, the day-to-day responsibility of The Ellen Show is completely on us. We take all of this very seriously, and we realize, as many in the world are learning, that we need to do better, are committed to doing better, and that we will do better. I also think it's very telling that when she kind of got called out a little bit, she didn't say anything. The producers came out with the apology. Like, I think when you get caught, not even caught, because that makes it sound like you were being malicious. When you get called out for your behavior negatively affecting people or your lack of behavior negatively affecting people, it is so much easier and less painful to just take accountability right when it happens. The power to be like, imagine if she had been like, if she came out herself and said, I am heartbroken to hear this, as the celebrity on the show, I have become very disconnected from the day-to-day runnings. That is my fault because my name is on the door and I'm committed to being more involved and ensuring my employees are safe and happy and cared for, because I always assumed that was the case and that was a wrong assumption. So now I'm going to intentionally make it better. Like, people would have been like, okay, thank you. Like, it costs $0 to just apologize and mean it. Meaning it is hard. So me reading the Ellen Show statement, like literally sloppy, lazy, boring, yawning, all of the things. Absolutely not. She wouldn't be so hated if she did that. Exactly. So trigger warning, workplace racism. A Black woman who used to work on the Ellen DeGeneres show told BuzzFeed News that she experienced racist comments, actions, and microaggressions during her 1.5 years as an employee. She said when she was hired, a senior level producer told her and another Black employee, this is so bad, I hate white people, oh wow, you both have box braids. I hope we don't get you confused. Shut the fuck up. You could have just not said that. Even if you thought that, just keep that thought inside. Like, what? And then this one's actually worse. And then at a work party, she said one of the main writers told her, I'm sorry, I only know the names of white people who work here. And her other coworkers awkwardly laughed it off instead of coming to her defense. Like, I told y'all it was bad. Like, I told y'all it was so bad. When the former employee brought up the issues of race and representation on the show and asked producers to not use offensive terms like spirit animal in segments, her colleagues called her the PC police. That's political correctness police. Because she asked them not to use the term spirit animals. Jesus Christ. When she started to speak up about the discrimination, she said all of her colleagues distanced themselves from her. Whenever I brought up an issue to my white male boss, he would bring up some random story about some random Black friend he had and how they managed to get over stuff. He would say, she said, oh, sorry. So that's what the employee said. She also said he would use his Black friend as some ways to say, I understand your struggle, but it was all performative bullshit. After 1 year at Ellen, she said she asked for a raise after learning another recent hire made double for doing the same job despite her having worked in the television industry for a decade. Her manager told her they'd see what they could do, but months and months went by and nothing happened, she said. The former employee said that she was also called into a meeting with executive producer Ed Galvin, where she was reprimanded for her objections to the term spirit animal, asking for a raise, and suggesting that employees on the show receive diversity and inclusion training. He said that I just walked around looking resentful and angry. After the meeting, she left work for the day and never returned to the Ellen DeGeneres show. She said she has no plans to ever work in the entertainment industry again. For years, she said she felt a fear of speaking out, but is now inspired to share her experience because of recent conversations around race in Hollywood and other workplaces. I feel like I'm not alone in this, she said. We all feel this. We've all been feeling this way, but I've been too afraid to say anything because everyone knows what happens when you say something as a Black person. You're blacklisted. The former employee also said that her manager from Ellen recently reached out to her amid the Black Lives Matter protests to apologize for not being a better ally. The former employee said it's too little, too late. Can I just say, white people were acting like different type of weird during the Black Lives Matter protests. To reach out to someone many years later and be like, I'm sorry I wasn't a better ally when you were their boss. I want to know what time that message was sent. I bet it was like 5 a.m. Like, I bet he was just like wrapped up in his white guilt through the night. That is so weird to reach out to someone years later when you were their boss. Like, I guess it wouldn't be weird if you guys were like really close friends and then you had a falling out, but like, he was literally your boss. That's so awkward. Not the white guilt text. Please at least send some Venmo reparations. Oh my God. And then she said, I feel angry about the way I was treated, and I'm always going to stand up for Black, Indigenous, Latino, and Asian people, regardless of if they're around, she said. I can't not say anything. I'm not going to stop talking. Love the Capri Sun break. But yeah, so this woman's experience seems absolutely awful. She didn't come out with her name in the BuzzFeed article. It was anonymous, but still very important that she shared her story, and that's why journalism is important. So another trigger for workplace discrimination. After working on the Ellen DeGeneres show for nearly a year, one former employee said they took medical leave for 1 month to check into a mental health facility for a unaliving attempt. But the week they returned to work, they were told that their position had been eliminated. 1 month. If it was like a year, I would get it, but it was literally 1 month. If you'd think that if someone just tried to themselves, you wouldn't want to add any more stress to their lives, the employee whose story was corroborated by 4 other employees and medical records told BuzzFeed News. Some of the producers talk openly in public about addiction and mental health awareness, but they're the reason there's a stigma, they said. They definitely don't practice what they preach with the Be Kind mantra. Another former employee said they were fired after an unexpectedly difficult year that required them to take time away from the job on 3 occasions. Medical leave for 3 weeks after they were in a car accident, working remotely for 2 days to attend a family member's funeral, and then 3 days off to travel to another family member's funeral. Each request was a battle with supervisors and HR, they added. That's the definition of a toxic work environment, where they make you feel like you're going insane and you're like, no, everything I was feeling was right. It was all leading up to this, the former staffer whose story was corroborated by 5 former employees and medical records. So, also that's literally illegal under FMLA. Yeah, I told you guys, this is like really fucking bad. Like, this is very, very bad. Like, really level 10 toxic work environment. And the fact that this isn't even that long off, like to have 3 weeks plus 5 more days, so 4 weeks off in 1 year is really not that crazy. Like, for you to be going through, again, like a medical issue and to take 4 weeks off, that's not weird. Like, every job I've had, besides like seasonal jobs, people have been in that situation. Like, all to make a show that was mediocre at best. Exactly. So a third former employee said they were given a warning for creating a GoFundMe campaign for money for medical costs that weren't covered by their company health insurance, and then they shared it on social media. Just 24 hours after posting the GoFundMe, they said they were called into the department head's office and told to take it down because of concerns that it might hurt Ellen DeGeneres' image. Maybe Ellen could pay for it. They discovered my fundraiser, then they got mad at me. They were more concerned about Ellen's brand instead of helping me out, the former employee whose story was corroborated by 4 other employees. About a month later, this employee said they were fired after posting a selfie laughing with coworkers at the office on a personal Instagram story, a violation of their contract even though others had posted similar photos before. Be kind to the world, they said, not your employees. So, big yikes. According to the employees, there is a division between the staff members who work on the show, the people who drink the Kool-Aid and are usually well-liked by producers, and the people who recognize that the environment is toxic. Those who push back against senior producers usually don't have their contracts renewed. They hire people who are inexperienced with how a functional, non-toxic work environment actually is, or someone who just wants to be in that atmosphere so bad that they'll put up with it, one former employee claimed. They kind of feed off of that. It's like, this is Ellen, this is as good as it gets, you'll never find anything better than this. According to former staffers, those who have more likable personality traits, who are willing to work the 10-plus hour days without complaint, and who actively ignore how managers and senior level producers treat others have been given new iPhones, JetBlue gift cards, and other swag that the show keeps it on hand from its sponsors. I remember feeling depressed and horrible and sad and just thinking I can't leave, but I want to leave, one former employee said. Everyone was unhappy unless you were one of those people being favored. Some employees defended the work culture, saying that this is typical of TV production. I do think there is some truth to that. I think that overall it's a really toxic industry, which isn't an excuse, but it is context. But other former employees with experience in the industry said that the Ellen DeGeneres show stood apart as particularly negative. I think that both of those things can be true. I think it can be true that, oh my God, the little GIFs on TikTok Live. I think it can be true that TV overall creates a very toxic work environment, and the Ellen show was particularly bad. I think that's not like, those things don't cancel each other out. They're not mutually exclusive. We all have a kind of this isn't normal feeling about how people get treated there, one former employee claimed. And there's this ushering out the door or your contract isn't renewed the minute you ruffle anyone's feathers or you don't show that you're extremely grateful and appreciative to work there. The long days are just a part of the film industry, unfortunately. That's what I mean. Like, long, grueling schedules are normal. Does that make it okay? No, but it is normal. But a lot of the things they talked about are not normal. So it's kind of like both. The employees who spoke to BuzzFeed News said that they worked in a culture dominated by fear. One of them said the general feeling among staffers was, if you have an issue, don't even think about bringing it up. I never felt like it was safe to go to my manager when I had issues because this was the same person who would wait for me to go to the bathroom and then message me asking where I was and why I wasn't at my desk. Oh, I could not work here. If you, as a boss, are not going to give me 30 minutes to just disappear and pretend I don't exist, this is not a working relationship that's going to be functional. I need to be able to hide. At every workplace I've ever worked, I have had hiding spots. Always. At the office I worked at in Miami, I had a closet. At the school I worked at, I had like a weird staircase to nowhere because the school had been remodeled. I would hide up there. But then a lot of times I would discover kids vaping there. And I was like, this is my hiding spot, not yours. Get out. And that's usually just all I would do. Anyway, back to Ellen. Sorry, I've been very distracted today, but whatever. So anyway, people focus on rumors about how Ellen is mean and everything like that, but that's not the problem. The issue is these 3 executive producers running the show who are in charge of all these people and who make the culture are putting out this feeling of bullying and being mean, another former employees claimed. They feel that everyone who works on the Ellen show is lucky to work there. So if you have a problem, you should just leave because we'll hire someone else because everybody wants to work here. And when people did leave or get fired, managers never addressed the team about it. We had a Friday morning weekly meetings, and sometimes people who worked there forever just wouldn't be there. One former employee said, like they disappeared, it was never explained. This is, to me, one of the biggest tells of a toxic workplace. If when people leave, you don't get to talk about it, and people aren't allowed to tell you that they're leaving. Like people that left aren't allowed to say goodbye is what I mean. Like they just, like when someone quits, they just cut off all their access to anything and they're like, okay, goodbye, you can leave right now. And like, don't let them work out their 2 weeks and things like that. I think that is such a tell of a toxic work environment. If you are not comfortable with former employees, like even socializing with your current employees. Like I know when I left my old school, my principal said that if he caught anyone socializing with me, they would be in trouble at work. And like, if you say like, you can't hang out with someone who used to be here, that shows like, now that that person's not under my control, I don't want you anywhere near them. Like that is so toxic and such a manipulation tactic. It's a very, very, very icky. Awkward. Why does this work environment feel like my school? My dad disowning my sister. No, literally. It's like it's a cult mentality that can be replicated in tons of different types of environments. See, now that it's getting darker and you can see the light, it's just so much more of a vibe. I definitely need to put a blackout curtain there. So July 31st, 2020, dozens of former Ellen Show employees say executive producers engaged in rampant sexual misconduct and harassment. This is by the same reporter, Christy Lee Yandoli. Trigger warning, obviously, we are going to talk about sexual misconduct and harassment in the workplace. Nothing is going to be super, super, super graphic, but just trigger warning if this is a sensitive topic for you. So, according to dozens of men and women who work behind the scenes, the office is a place where sexual harassment and misconduct runs rampant. One ex-employee said that head writer and executive producer Kevin Lehman asked him if he could give him a hand job or perform oral sex in a bathroom at a company party in 2013. Another said that they separately saw Lehman grab a production assistant's penis. So, like, literally really bad sexual harassment. In May 2017, another former employee said that she saw Lehman grope a production assistant in a car and kiss his neck. Nearly a dozen former employees who range from longtime senior level employees to production assistants said it was also common for Lehman to make sexually explicit comments in the office, like pointing out male colleagues' bulges and asking them, like, are you a top or a bottom? So literally, just like, you don't ask things like that at work. It was masked in sarcasm, but it's not sarcasm, a former employee said. It's like the same strategy as Ellen. It's like, let me ask obtrusive, rude, inappropriate questions as a joke, and maybe I'll get away with it. He'd probably do it in front of 10 people. They'd just laugh because it's just Kevin being Kevin. But if you're in a position of power at a company, you don't just get to touch me like that, a former employee said. Major side-eye. BuzzFeed News spoke to 36 former employees, many of them who independently corroborated incidents of harassment, sexual misconduct, and assault from top producers like Lehman. All of the ex-employees, many of whom had voluntarily left the show, asked to remain anonymous out of fear of retribution. 5 former employees said that executive producer Ed Glavin touched them in a way that made them uncomfortable by rubbing their shoulders and back, as well as placing his hand around their lower waist. Dozens of former employees also, I'm pretty sure this is a different guy. Yep, different guy. So there's Kevin Lehman, and then there's also Ed Glavin. So there's two predators on set. Not one, but 2. Dozens of former employees also said that Glavin had a reputation for being handsy with women, especially in the control room, and managed the team through fear and intimidation. You could definitely see the creep factor and the creepy touching that was out in the open for everybody to see. One former employee who said Galvin regularly touched her in the control room told BuzzFeed News. Obviously, no one wants that, and no one wants to be uncomfortably touched by someone, but you don't want to piss them off or you would be fired. So it was just that culture of fear. Another former employee said that Galvin would call over producers and assistants to sit near him when the show filmed segments they had worked on, and in front of nearly 30 other people in the control room would touch them inappropriately. I can't imagine to be violated in this way by your boss in front of so many other people. This would really fuck you up. Like, I'm trying to think about how badly this would fuck you up, and it would be really, really bad. Because not only did you get violated by someone in a position of power over you, tons of people saw it. So you feel embarrassed, and you also feel like you're crazy because you're like, surely that was normal because someone would have done something. So I must be crazy for feeling so violated because no one would do that in front of so many people. Like, that is, like, it's literally such a fucking mind game to do that when you're in a position of power. It's absolutely insane. So even though I was being abused at work constantly, Ed putting his arm around you in the control room was like the nicest experience you had all day, as messed up as that sounds, she said. But you had been crying last night, and now your segment is going well, and then you feel like you got credit for something from the direct executive producer directly, that friendly banter accompanied by a friendly hand. So it's like super big culture of fear and intimidation, and then coupling the inappropriate physical acts with praise is just so manipulative and so disgusting that they knew exactly what they were doing by this. In all, 47 employees who spoke to BuzzFeed News said Glavin led with intimidation and fear on a daily basis. One former employee said when they turned in their notice, Glavin flipped over a table and chair while screaming. 5 former employees also said they saw Glavin use a button at his desk to remotely shut his office door as an intimidation tactic during reprimands. So what that means, just to give you context for how this would feel. So imagine I'm your boss. You're across from me. I'm in my boss chair looking at you. Pretend Mike and the pink wall aren't here. Pretend we're in like a scary office. You come in, you sit down, you don't realize you're in trouble. And then I say, I need to talk to you about some very serious things. Whatever. I say something that kind of shows you that you're in trouble. And then I press a button on my desk that makes my door slam shut behind you. And now we're alone. The Matt Lauer button. Yes, Ron Swanson did have the button, but his office was glass, so I think it makes it less intimidating because other people can still see you. Yes, apparently Matt Lauer did that as well. That's outrageous. He's literally playing a supervillain at his fucking job. I hate when men. It seemed like a power move more than anything, one former employee said. Ex-coworkers also said, this is crazy. Ex-coworkers also said they were uncomfortable when Glavin used his private shower in his office bathroom. You'd go into his office for an important meeting and the shower door is open and you're like, that's just a little weird. The shower is right when you walk in on the right. Before you even see his desk, you see his shower. He'd be openly showering and going into meetings with wet hair. No. Nope. Not the shower. Not the shower. So did Ellen take any accountability for this? Because one thing I did want to say is, like, I did not hear of Ellen acting with any misconduct. We've heard of Ellen being mean and nasty and rude, but we haven't heard of her doing anything illegal, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm not trying to make it out like it's Ellen's fault that this happened, but at the end of the day, like a lot of other people said, Ellen's name is on the door. I'm not going to blame her for the behavior of predatory men, but I am going to blame her for not creating a safe workplace, because that's what she failed to do. So in a letter to her staff on Thursday, this was back in 2020, DeGeneres said that she had come to rely on others to stay on top of the daily operation, but added, my name is on the show and everything we do, and I take responsibility for that. So again, just to give you a timeline, BuzzFeed News reports that it's like a very toxic culture. Ellen doesn't respond. She has the producers respond. Then a few weeks later, it comes out that the producers are, as my grandfather would say, sexual predators, and then Ellen responds. I think if Ellen had responded originally, this whole situation would have been very, 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 very different. So she said, as we've grown exponentially, I've not been able to stay on top of everything and relied on others to do their jobs as they knew I'd want them done. Clearly, some didn't. That will now change, and I'm committed to ensuring this does not happen again. But other former employees told BuzzFeed News it's implausible that DeGeneres hasn't been exposed to the same stories and behavior, particularly when they allegedly involve the senior level executives she spends most of her time with. For someone who's so involved in the show and the creative aspects, they have to have been in those meetings with her. It's very hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that she doesn't hear the same whispers, one former employee who worked closely with DeGeneres said, unless she's just really in this bubble. Another longtime former employee who also worked with DeGeneres said that the talk show host doesn't want to know about what goes behind the scenes and doesn't want to rock the boat because she's and nobody wants to rock the boat because she's essentially the show's brand. She knows, the former employee said. She knows shit goes on, but she also doesn't want to hear it. I think what Ellen is doing is like selective ignorance. Like I think Ellen believes that she did not know, because every time Ellen saw a hint, she just ignored it and put it out of her brain because she didn't want to deal with the consequences and she didn't want to be accountable for what she should have been accountable for, is my theory. Fish rots from the head. So May 12th, 2021, Ellen DeGeneres is ending her TV show after allegations of sexual misconduct in a toxic workplace. In August, DeGeneres announced with executive producers Ed Glavin and Ken Lehman and co-executive producers Jonathan Norman had been fired, but her apology couldn't stem the fallout. Months later, the show was still losing advertisers, struggling to book A-list celebrities, and suffering a dip in ratings during what is usually the busiest time of the year. In her interview with The Hollywood Reporter, DeGeneres said she had been contemplating leaving the show for several years, how convenient, but was convinced to stay on. But then the reports of misconduct started emerging, and unfortunately I learned that through the press. I really think she knew about it earlier. When you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged, and as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore, she told The Hollywood Reporter. It's just not a challenge. Code word for, I hired predators and now I'm being held accountable, so I'm just gonna leave. Me reading through the employees' stories, realizing this is way fucking worse than I thought. Literally so fucking bad. So bad. So what is Ellen up to now that her show has been canceled? So in the spring 2023 of Riv Magazine, which is a design and architecture publication, the talk show host and comedian spoke about her new home during her first interview since the end of her show in May 2022. She also, a lot of people hated her because during COVID, she made this video and she was like, I feel like I'm in prison, when she has this like fancy ass house, and people really were not into that. Ellen said, "This place is all about the spot. The house needed a lot of work, but the spot was always amazing." She told the outlet of the 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom home that sits on 10 acres. "Strangely, it was the first place Portia and I ever looked up here." So this is just her talking about her house, basically. "Truthfully, I didn't even want to see the place. It's the longest I've ever deliberated on a property because the site was incredible, but the house, while good bones, basically did not have a single surface I could live with, and everything clashed with everything, even the ceilings." So she is very into like home shit. According to the outlet, DeGeneres had purchased and sold over 50 houses and estates in Southern California. Some of her recent properties include a Spanish-style 3-bedroom house that she bought for $12 million and then sold for $13.5 million 6 months later, a cottage she listed for $6 million in 2022, and a Malibu home that once belonged to Brad Pitt that she purchased for $12 million back in 2011. Ellen DeGeneres sees her residential projects as a lifelong passion. She said, "I don't really travel a lot, so house flipping is my version of travel. With house flipping, the scenery changes even though I stay in the same general area, only a new place from a new perspective." So I guess that's what she's into now. Also, I was going to talk about like her marriage and her personal life and some stuff like that, but I decided I really didn't care and it really didn't matter because everything I've heard about her wife is that her wife is extremely nice. She's married to Portia de Rossi, if you didn't know that. I've heard her wife is very pleasant. Her wife apologizes on her behalf, so I just really didn't feel like it was necessary to talk about her dating or her marriage. But here is a picture of her with her best friend, war criminal. She's very good friends with George Bush. Here's them at a baseball game together. I also did want to talk about her DJ on her show, Stephen Twitch Boss. He was on the Ellen Show from 2015 to 2022. Here is a photo of him. Trigger warning, big trigger warning for taking your own life. So Boss, the DJ and executive producer of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, took his own life on December 13th of 2022, I believe, shocking friends and family. No one had any inkling he was low. He didn't want people to know. His wife, Allison, told People in May, he just wanted to be everyone's Superman and protector. He originally rose to fame when he competed on the show You Think You Can Dance, and then he used a gun to take his own life, which was confirmed by the LA County coroner. And Ellen took to social media with a message that said, "I'm heartbroken," which was pure love and light. "He was my family. I loved him with all my heart. I will miss him. Please send your love and support to Allison and his beautiful children, Wesley, Maddox, and Zaya." I like that, those names, Wesley, Maddox, and Zaya. This is so sad. I asked my boyfriend if he's happy every day since. Oh my God, I should be asking my boyfriend that. Also earlier, he knocked on this window and it was very jarring. Here's him with his family. Those are his 3 kids right there. I'm sad. He was affected by the bullshit around her show. Yes, the whole situation is very, very sad. I debated whether or not to include this, but a couple people asked me to, and I felt like it was important to talk about because this man, I don't know, it's just a really sad situation. I don't know. I just felt like it was important. I really don't have an answer for you. But I hate ending on that. So I don't want to end on that. Let's find the video of her from 2020. Is it this?
Hi, everybody. Here I am again in my living room. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house.
No, don't be. He was a
I've
light.
spent hours and hours getting everything exactly right, trying to make it beautiful and cozy. And now there's a camera, lights everywhere.
I'm going to try and find the other one while y'all watch
pointing
this.
at my crotch really ties the room together. I hope. Thanks, Andy. Andy's laughing at what I'm saying. Appreciate it.
I can hear it today.
You heard the word
Okay,
crotch.
here. This is what we wanted instead.
All right, Ellen is getting a lot of backlash for a joke that she made on Monday during her first show back on air that she shot in her living room.
One thing that I've learned from being in quarantine is that people, this is like being in jail, is what it is. It's mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone in here is gay. The jokes that I have.
As people had reaction to first. So a couple tweets said Ellen really is the worst. Another said Ellen's jail is a mansion and she's free to move about it, eat well and be with her wife. Gay jokes about prison ain't funny either. Ellen, you quarantining in her mansion in designer sweats is nothing like prison.
Also, the captions
prisoners are
won't
gonna
work.
die in disproportionate numbers because people only see them as subhumans deserving violence or punchlines for stupid jokes. There is no place on our state that could ever remotely resemble a prison. So that's some of the tweets that are out there.
Yeah, and I don't think that the backlash was based around, or the legitimate backlash was based around the fact that she likened her giant plush living room to a prison or a jail. I think that the backlash is that Ellen just straight up made a prison rape joke. And the setting of her living room and wearing the same clothes every day was just a way to make a prison rape joke. And I think that that's where any sort of backlash is going to come. She could have very easily said, being in self-quarantine is like being in a Broadway show. The set never changes. You wear the same clothes every day and everyone's gay. You know,
that would have been
funnier.
funnier.
Same joke with the same punchline, only there's no prison rape involved in it. And I think that that's what people had a really hard time with. But you know me, I'm always for comics, and do I think doing a monologue from a chair in her living room played very well? No, I don't.
Right.
Do I think that show ever would have made the broadcast show had she been with her writers and they went through it ahead of time? No, absolutely not.
Right. Colleen says sense of humor. People. Deborah says it's a joke, folks. She is funny. Jeremiah says wrong audience, like you said. And Nelson says it is funny. Americans are so sensitive.
You guys get the point.
But
anyway, she made that joke. People really didn't like it. That happened like shortly before she was really like officially like done for everything. What if Ellen just isn't funny? So here are the sources that I used. There was a lot of them tonight. Thank you all for being here. I also wanted to tell you that next week we will be talking about the history of American Girl doll. So I'm very, very excited about that. I am not an American Girl doll girly. Just to let you know, my parents felt that those were too much money. So I did have the books, but I did not have the dolls. So I never had the dolls as a kid. And then I was dating this guy, and his mom was like an American Girl doll collector. So she gave me one, and then I just like put it in my closet, and then I forgot about it. And then when I was moving a couple weeks ago, I found it, and I was like, so I gave it to my friend who has a little girl. So I don't have any American Girl dolls, but I kind of wish I had kept it for this stream because it's Julie, so she looks like me. So I could have like sat her here with me. That would have been kind of funny, but you know, whatever. So anyway, let's go ahead. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm glad that I put this in here because I forgot. A lot of you didn't know this, but I also have a podcast. It's called Teacher Quit Talk. It is with me and Miss Frazzled. If you don't know who Miss Frazzled is, she is a much more popular influencer than I am. She taught kindergarten for a while and now is a mother. She works for an education company. We have a podcast. She does a lot of cool things now. So we have a podcast together. We recently kind of changed the style. We used to have a guest on every week, and now instead of having a guest on, we choose a different topic every week. So some topics will have guests to come talk about it because they're an expert, but the first two that we did are already out. We actually had another episode drop today. But episode 44 is one of my favorite episodes. It's called The Social Studies Struggle, and we talk about how over the last 20 years, social studies education has really been like kind of struck out of schools and how that's going to affect us and our kids and how it is affecting our kids, and it's just like all about social studies. And then we also have a episode 45, the FBI, Big Milk, and Michelle Obama, that is about school nutrition, which I know that doesn't seem like it's related to teachers quitting, but I worked in hospitality for a long time, and if you want people to be happy, they need to be fed with things that they like. If they are not fed, they are not happy. So we talk a lot about how school nutrition is really just a big business and kids are very exploited by companies and children's need for food is exploited by companies. So yeah, we got a little nerdier. So I just kind of wanted to talk about the podcast because I know I mentioned it on here a couple of weeks ago and people didn't know that I had it. So I just wanted to tell you, here it is. It's on anywhere you listen to podcasts. I use Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's pretty much everywhere you can possibly think of. But thank you again for being here for the Ellen stream. We are going to play the game. And yes, I have the computer fund update. While you guys are playing the game, I'll update it and we can talk about it. But which game do we want to play? Mods, please let me use curse words. I'm from New Jersey and I don't know better. I'm sorry. It's the, I'll allow it. It's the computer does it. Space. The first one I saw was space, and I don't think we've done that. Cool. So, here is the directions to get onto Nearpod to play the game. If you do not want to play, that is totally fine. You can fake play and the questions will come up on my screen, but all you have to do, let me put it in the chat, I do not need your email, I do not need money, you don't need to make an account, you don't need a password. Go to join.nearpod.com and enter the code BT2LN. That's again, join.nearpod.com. You can do this on your phone, you can do it in a new tab, you can do it on any kind of device. Join.nearpod.com and your code is BT2LN. Or I just put the link in the chat. I will put it there again, and then I will update our Venmo fund. When you get on there, it'll say to put in your name. Whatever you put in will come up on screen, and you get to pick a little character. So let me update our fund because we crossed over our 50% threshold, which I'm very, very happy about. Not that one. That's one. There we go. Alrighty, so we are currently at $1,013.43. That is 55%. So let me go through and say thank you to everybody that donated, or to everyone that gifted tonight. Thank you, Katrina for 10, Cameron for 5, Elizabeth for 3, Brooke for 2, another Elizabeth for 10, Valeria for 5, Catherine for 5, Tamara for 10, Lisa for 10, Mackenzie for 3, Dana for 5, Kaya for 5, I think I already read these, but Christina 3.42, Allie Reed's $6.90, we love a joke, Tyler with $10, Adlin with 5, Carolyn with 5, Becky with 5, Rachel with 15, Alex with an I love Alex with an I for 5, Rachel with 5, Jordan for 10, Sophia for 5. Some of those were from the other day. Thank you, thank you, thank you to anyone who has gifted to my computer fund. For those of you that don't know, I have been putting this little banner here so that I can get myself a nice, a bigger computer so that I can do more cool stuff. Can you teach us how to subscribe with Prime? I believe if you go into settings of your account, it's in there, but I don't have Amazon Prime, so I could not do it to tutorial you, but if someone else could help out a Quick Trip parking lot in the chat, I would appreciate it. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to join. Your favorite cowboy, Ellen's Curtain Bangs, a Dutch Bros parking lot. Alrighty, to join the game, I'm giving you 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, thank you. There's 99 of you. We love that. Also, someone said you have to do it in the browser, not the app. And someone said for the Amazon Twitch thing, and someone said, I Googled Amazon Twitch subscription and joined via the Amazon website that popped up. I subbed with Prime, but there wasn't an alert. A Marshall's parking lot. Thank you for being a Prime subscriber. I see that you're a subscriber. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And if you have not joined, it will let you join late. And there's one part I fucked up with her game. It's at Disney, not Universal. I can't remember what the question is, but I'll tell you when it comes up. Ew, why does it look like that? Very weird. There we go. Who did we learn about today? Ooh, we're already at 1,024. Even faster since I made that graphic. See, I can't even keep up with y'all. Oh, I just remembered I have ice cream. That's so exciting for me. I love that. I clicked the answer 4 times and it wouldn't select. That really just brought me back. Whenever I was teaching and we would be playing this and a kid's computer would freeze and they'd be like, Miss Redacted, I'm losing because my computer froze. I was like, I'm literally so sorry. Like, I have nothing to help you. Like, sorry. That's not good. So sorry about that. What religion was Ellen raised in? Also, I'm going to go ahead and end the tickety talk. For those of you on TikTok, I forgot to tell you this, but to see the slides, you have to come to Twitch. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings. Have a good night, TikTok. Love you. Bye. Oh, I got 60 cents worth of TikTok gifts. I wonder if I acted like an AI, if that would be better. Man, I still have all my like weird old teaching apps on this iPad. Oopsies. Haters back off. Dying to hear your thoughts about Barbie someday. Ugh, it was so good. I'm not doing an AI demo. Thanks so much for asking, though. What was the name of Ellen's sitcom? It was These Friends of Mine. What was the name of Ellen's ride at Disney? Okay, so I fucked up, but it didn't really affect you all. No, I'm not gay. I'm dying. I really pride myself on my wrong answer choices. Oh, Barbie was so good. I'm just thinking about how good it was. So I'm not going to spoil it by saying this, but if you've seen it, this will be cool. The first couple minutes where they're just kind of showing you the Barbie universe or the Barbie world and like what it's like there, like before they really get into the plot of the movie, I could watch 2 hours of just that. Like it could just be the Barbies being Barbie and I would watch that for 2 hours and love it. I thought that's what it was going to be. I'm not disappointed, but I would also like that. If you guys wanted to also make that, I would not be mad about it. Also, another thing I really appreciated, also not spoiling it, it was historically accurate. So when they show the first Barbie, she's wearing the correct outfit. And when they talk about discontinued Barbies, those were all real discontinued Barbies. I really, really appreciated that it was historically accurate. I greatly appreciated that. I'm sorry that there is no prize for winning this. Maybe one day if I'm as rich as Ellen, I can give you all JetBlue gift cards if I get a sponsor. We would love that. I should try that. I should try and get a company to sponsor each week where they like send you a thing. I should work on that. Good idea. Thank you. Watch it be like Flat Tummy Tea and like Bloom. And be like, you get your Bloom greens. I'm newer. Have you ever talked about chiropractors? No. And I would be biased because I love the chiropractor. I love going there. I know it's fake science and I know that they could kill me, but I love it. You know what I mean? I just discovered my mom made a pic of me in my pink Barbie outfit, her lock screen today. What about Monica Lewinsky? Yes, we have talked about that. Mr. Redacted's favorite things. Stop. I would love that. That's literally my dream to do a Mr. Redacted's favorite things. What news outlet reported on Ellen's wrongdoings? You get a Bloom. You get a Bloom. You get diarrhea. You get diarrhea. That's all it does. People say, oh, it makes me so, it gets rid of my bloating. Yeah, because it gave you diarrhea. That's why it got rid of your bloating. So, and I also just want to say that Bloom reached out to me for a partnership, not once, but twice, and I turned them down. Oh, let me find the Monica Lewinsky one. It's like named some weird thing. Girls chat stream. The Monica Lewinsky one was a long time ago. I'm gonna try and find it. I don't know where it is though. You're so real for that. For what? Oh yeah, I did y'all dirty with the Dakotas. Had to, sorry. What is this video? I remember what the thumbnail is. I just don't remember what the title is. Oh, okay. So it is from 11 months ago. The title of it is Monica Lewinsky Deserved Better, an in-depth analysis. It's from 11 months ago on my channel. And here is the, let me move my screen so I can see you. Here, oh, you can't see it because of the light. The thumbnail has Bill Clinton with like a clown wig and nose on. Did you get a trampoline yet? No, I'm a little broke right now, but I'm about to get paid for some work that I did, so I'll get one soon. Who is a friend of Ellen's? George W. Bush. That is true. What are we learning next week? We're not learning Barbie history, but that one is on YouTube. So if you're feeling like a Barbie girl, you can go watch my Barbie stream. That was one of my favorite ones I've ever done, and it is on YouTube. And just so you know, the correct answer is American Girl doll history, but we will be talking about Martha Stewart and Paris Hilton. Also, everyone keeps asking me if I quit my job. I cannot confirm nor deny what is happening with my career because I have been silenced, but what I will say is that in roughly a month, I will be able to tell you what's going on in a month. There's just a thing happening that has some legal things around it, so I'm not supposed to talk about it. But once it's over in a month, then I can talk about it. That's what's happening. Alrighty, in first place, we have Ryan, then a Fred Meyer parking lot, a Joann's parking lot. Nothing's wrong. I'm not in trouble and no one silenced me in a mean way. I made the choice to participate in something that from a legal perspective, I cannot speak about. This was all a choice. Were you silenced or were you silent? I chose to be silenced. So anyway, we have Ryan, a Fred Meyer parking lot, a Joann's parking lot, Savannah, Carly, Hitch, Paige, Sarah, Liz, Pug Parents, Sarah Seraph, Moop, Sammy B, Meddy Lynn, Ashley, Gina, your mom, a Walmart parking spot, a lot of parking, and a Dutch Bros parking lot. I will scroll through the rest. Nice job. An Ellen's studio parking lot, Ellen's curtain banks, and 34 and 35. That's hilarious. Optional nickname, Dakota Johnson's party invitation. Please unban me. I'm sorry, email me. I don't know where you're banned. I'm trying to help you. Martha Stewart slays. I'm excited to talk about Martha Stewart. All right, vote for Chillery. Here's some more. Nice job, nice job. You were invited to my birthday party, Ellen's prison mansion. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Ellen DeGeneres was great. I didn't even see that one. I just thought it was a typo. I didn't even register it. Thank you so much for being here. As always, this is the highlight of my week. Next week, we will be talking about American Girl doll history. I am going to post a TikTok later where I solicit help from the American girlies because I was not one. So if you have an American Girl doll that you are passionate about, keep an eye on my TikTok, leave some comments on my promo video, and I will include your American Girl. But the only reason I'm not saying to do it now is because this chat doesn't get saved anywhere, and on TikTok I can go back and look at it while I'm prepping our slides. So, you think 2020 has been hard for you? Look at what it's done to Eminem. Make curtain banks the star of your look. Ellen being raised a Christian Scientist. Please unban my Twitch. I want to chat. Auntie Hope. Let me see. Chat settings. Email me. I'm going to put my email in here and I'm going to figure it out. I like how it says I'm teacher. Email me. We will fix it. I can't fix it within here because it doesn't do everything, but I can fix it when I'm in regular mode. My wife got second and I got first. Thanks for the fun game. We love this. Oh my God, I love your marriage. This needed nowadays. Nudes are overrated. Send me a video of you reading out loud so I know you're not stupid. Stop. Just chatting stream 1. Oh, good idea. We haven't done that in a minute. Ellen going to the hospital with a broken leg. Ellen in her response to her crew and guest being constantly terrorized, well, do you think I give a shit? She's like, that was actually the whole thing the whole time. Venmo is for illicit substance dealers and gifted misredacted. Exactly. This is how I picture you as a teacher. Oh, I need that. I need that. I need that. I don't care how much it costs. That's on eBay. I'm buying it. I am buying it. Holy shit. Why did I not know that that existed? Oh, I love it. And she's like low-key a white savior too. Look at that. It's giving Teach for America. You're a man and you watched Barbie. I hope this was you during the movie. Ellen with literally everything happening around her. Oh my god. There was 2 Liz's, so now I don't know what I got. Damn. That's tough. Ellen making a comeback next week? Stop. Core memory unlocked. It's giving Teacher America. I'm sorry I said that. But like it kind of was. If you know, you know. Like, if you know, you know. That's all I can say. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week for American Girl Doll History, which is in a way American history as well. But again, thank you for talking shit about Ellen with me. I hope you have a great night. I hope you're living. I hope you're laughing. And I hope you're learning. Thank you again for everyone that has gifted towards the computer fund. I greatly appreciate you. Peace and blessings.